Welcome to another Minot Talk. It's 2 p.m. here on Tuesdays, and so that's when we go live. But of course, you can watch it anytime during the week. Minot Talk here at the Dakotan.
Facebook or YouTube.
Facebook or YouTube.
Or a lot of those podcasting sources too.
We have
audio available now.
Right. Yeah. We get it out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, not Google Podcasts because that died.
That's
that went away.
That was a thing.
It was till earlier this year, and then now I think they've integrated it into YouTube.
I guess that would make sense.
So it's weird. It's weird. I don't fully get it yet, but Google has a plan. Cole is here to tell us all about it. I should have asked you this before you came on. How do you pronounce your last name?
Clementich.
Clementich. See,
Well,
I was gonna.
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. It's like I forgive them.
I appreciate it.
So,
Yeah. I need a lot of forgiveness in my life, and we'll start there.
We all.
But
thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, we're so thankful that you're able to join. We're pretty excited to talk Minot State athletics, all the great things that are going on. Starting with football and working all the way through whatever you want to talk about. So,
for you guys last week.
Oh yeah, yep. But Thursday night, it was it was a madhouse. Like we're all scrambling, and
I'm sure first game of the season.
I got contact with our director of video services, Lee Johnson, and first off, I want to start by thanking our big production staff for putting on a good show, and it's just. They're the backbone. So, and I was fortunate enough to call play-by-play that day for 6th time now, starting in my 2nd season. But no, that it was just, all prep work coming together. Like I had to help with setup and, just the production aspect and make sure cameras are working. We actually introduced replay for the first time now. So for at least for football, we've done it for other sports, but never for football. So it was really nice.
You say fortunate enough, but you've called a lot of games in your professional career.
A little bit. I mean, my last year was my first real year of doing play-by-play. For multiple sports, I was able to do hockey, wrestling, football, of course, a little bit of women's soccer, and twice with baseball and or softball. Going in actually as a GA. So when I first started out, we had Beck Sports on hand. They were contracted, and that was the old administration. They just wanted to ensure that all their games were taken care of. And
makes sense.
Everyone was
they just wanted it broadcast.
Yeah, they wanted everyone to get the broadcast feed out there, of course. And there's actually it's stated in writing in a contract with the NSIC, the Northern Sun Conference, with Minot State, that every school has to have a live video stream going.
Oh, wow.
So, and if they don't, then they get, I don't know what the penalties are for it, but you got to have a live stream. And, Minot State went above and beyond with Beck Sports. And then word got around over, not this past summer, but the summer before that, I don't want to speak on behalf of them, but it sounded like they weren't getting the viewership they were hoping for, or just not enough people were tuning in. That's my assumption. I don't know how Beck views it, but that's kind of the rumor I heard. And so me being the broadcasting graduate, and my colleague Howard Wade, who I also want to shout out, we both have our degrees in broadcasting, and we were actually first in line to call football. So that was
that's exciting.
Oh boy, pressure's on now.
That's crazy. So and you called how many different games? Like how many different sports? That you mentioned like 6 or 7 different sports.
At least 5 for sure. Yeah.
All right. So is that hard?
It actually, calling it, just like in from a general standpoint, like just describing what's happening out there, that's fine in itself. But preparing for the events, like doing your game prep, writing stuff down,
number 9,
research about the other team
for the other teams, and for multiple sports, it is hard to keep
number 9 is this person from Minot State for football, but then you go to volleyball and it's somebody else, so you have to relearn all your names and numbers.
Especially
and
if you're actively calling 2 sports at the same time like that too.
Yeah, I'm not like Kevin Harlan, but that's, no, it is. Yeah, it is. Game prep is. I'd love to be there someday, but no, there's a lot of game prep that I think gets lost out in the shuffle. That there's just so many to go through. So,
what's been your favorite sport to call so far?
I always tell people, so I'm a big hockey guy,
Okay.
and hockey and football are usually like my top two.
Those are your.
I really enjoyed calling hockey the first time. I actually got a chance with Nick Holberg of PSP Network.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
There was a time where he was doing the state B tournaments or one of the basketball tournaments happening at the Dome. And it just so happened to be that Minot State hockey was playing on at the same time. And
Okay.
that was when he was doing their games. And, you know, he said, hey, you want to jump aboard, get some reps? And I was like, I don't know. But eventually, you know, it worked out for me because I could use that to my advantage now, calling a little bit of hockey.
Yeah.
Having done that last year.
So you mentioned Kevin Harlan. Is that kind of like your future? Obviously, he used to be the voice for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Back in the 90s. Yeah.
So I'm not a Minnesota sports guy, but I love Kevin Harlan. He is one of the best out there. Jim Nance is also great. You know, you get a lot of knowledge from him.
Jim Nance is next level.
Here's a name that a lot of people may not know is Gord Miller. Just his energy after calling a goal is just something that I don't think can ever be replicated. He's really good at that. So I like Gord Miller.
I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but somebody told me about Kevin Harlan that some executive was traveling through Minnesota, and it would be an executive for a TV station, something like that. And I believe he said that he would turn on the radio and it was this really, and it was this incredible basketball game he was listening to. And so he was just like into it, and the announcer was bringing him to the moment, and he was all about it. He's like, dude, this is a good game. And then finally they announced the score, and it's like the Timberwolves were getting whooped. And he's like, oh wow, the announcer though made it feel like you could still feel the energy.
Right,
it was all in it. And he's like, all right, we got to figure out. I heard that was the case,
when the
but
12th man on the bench comes on in that mop up time, it's still just as exciting.
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
And that's the important thing about broadcasters is how do you paint the picture? Because for radio it's especially a challenge.
Oh
you don't have you don't have the blueprint. The vision is blurred, so you only have your ears to rely on. And so painting that picture is really critical for a broadcaster at any point of the game.
Moving right to left across your dial, the classic. So you can imagine how the ball is moving down the field.
I even mentioned in the broadcast on Thursday, the Beavers donning the red jerseys with the green and white stripes on the shoulders going from right to left, Valley City in the white and maroon pants going the opposite direction.
Exactly.
So that's a little radio mannerism there.
Right. Makes sense. All right. So very interesting story so far. You do all this, and you also do the Minot Sports podcast. You sat down with all the famous Minot State football players of recent history, including, I believe you sat down with Sebastian Gutierrez.
Yes. Very, very nice guy. He's very lucky to have talked to him and gotten to known his dad as well.
Okay.
And they're just a great family, and they pride themselves off of working hard and just having high character. And that's what Seabass is, that he's been able to find success in the NFL right now, despite he hasn't made a 53-man roster yet. The teams are still eyeing him for their practice squads because he's working hard. He's putting in a lot of effort for not only being 6'6" and 250.
I was gonna say he's a massive man.
Yeah. Too. And he's just putting in the effort, and teams like that. And the 49ers, they've kept him on for a second straight year. I'm proud of him, happy for him and his family. And
it's way cool.
Hopefully they
see where that goes. My first introduction to him was when I was working with Jason Spain, and he was doing Spainer and Riggs. Maybe you saw that little podcast going on.
I actually saw a little bit of Spainer and Riggs. I enjoyed watching that show.
Yeah. Jason Spain is next level.
Men's club soccer.
Right there on campus. Yeah, he was the women's soccer coach back in the day. Went to Wisconsin and then came back, and then eventually, So, all right, not today's topic though. Today's topic is Minot State sports, and one of those things already referenced was Thursday night. First, I didn't do the stats on this, but has to be one of the first opening wins of the season for the football team in a while.
Yes, it has been a long
time. And
time.
It started with a helicopter flying over midfield. Was that pretty neat or what?
That's so, believe it or not, that was not actually the first time I've seen that before. Mine
Okay.
at High last year, and it was either last year or the year before. They actually they did the same thing. Just an Air Force Space collaboration helicopter just landed on top of midfield, and the guy came out, delivered the game ball, and that was crazy.
Yeah.
And to
Incredible
see
visual.
Minot State do that, I thought they were going to come in straight from the south end of the field. No,
Okay.
they came in from the west end, and they were just kind of going sideways. They were
Gotcha.
facing the sunset,
Yeah.
and the guy, I forget what it's called, but he came out bungeeing on a rope, and he actually tumbled onto the field.
Yes,
but,
I saw
yeah,
that.
it looked like he turned out fine. And no, I actually learned from one of the Minot State football parents of Jake Swerple, Mrs. Swerple. She told me that the colonel that delivered the game ball, he actually grew up in the same town as
Wow.
Jake Swerple, the starting
Really?
center for Minot State football. And
That's neat.
Dearborn Heights, Michigan. And
Okay.
he went to high school, graduated, or maybe not the same year, but he went to the same high school as his
Sure.
dad. So
There's
yeah,
some-
that was a nice little connection there.
that's
That's
one of the
fun.
positive stories from Dearborn Heights, Michigan.
We don't need to get too deep onto that.
And that Jake Swerple came there.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Another
dual
positive
sport
story.
athlete. Yep.
It's
That's very neat.
The impact on Minot from
Yeah.
Michigan.
Yeah, those are positive things. All right. So what was your first thoughts as you looked at the 2024 football team for Minot State? Is this going to be a different year for Minot State?
So the thing with the non-conference games, yeah,
Yep.
we played Valley City, and
Right.
again, it's they're always going to be those comments online saying, "Oh, they played NAIA." Well, the thing with Valley City is that they went 7-3 last year for a reason. They were
Right.
one of North Dakota's best, prospective small schools, and I think it was a good challenge for them to come up here. That's the first time in 14 years they played last year, September 25th of 2010. Now, granted, they lost big, and they lost big again this time. I think for Minot State, Coach, he kind of had a simple game plan, running the flex bone, wishbone type
Run the ball.
offense, just running up. We were talking earlier, starting quarterback Carson Crispin, and the thing about him is he was actually a defensive back last year. And once I heard that Coach was going to go with him, they're telling him to convert to quarterback, I immediately knew, okay, I think he's got a plan with him. He's probably going to be QB1. And he's very athletic.
Okay.
Doesn't have the arm that as Dawson McCleary did last year, so they were more apt to throw
Right.
last year. But this time around, I think Coach just didn't want to show his hand a lot in like scouting reports for up next, who they faced, Southwest Minnesota. Just run the ball. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And
Yeah, they were able
I
to
think
just
that's
keep
what they
pounding.
did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think running the ball is something that every football team should do more of the first week of the season. So probably throughout the whole year, but first week of the season, there's a lot of rust. You haven't actually played against a different team, different looks. Run the ball.
Yeah. To answer your question, essentially, yeah, it looks the part, but again, you got to take into consideration they are playing a lower level conference. But
Right.
I did talk to Emin Espino, the left guard. He said, a college football game is hard enough to win, and Valley City they couldn't get anything going minus one third quarter drive. And it kind of looked like, oh boy, Minot State, are they going to let him back in a little bit? If that were a conference game, that might look a little different. But yeah, again, Coach has a playbook where it's the triple option. It's hard to stop, but you also run the risk of you don't have any. The downside is you don't have any big plays.
Right.
Essentially,
if you get down early, it's hard to come back.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's. I kind of think of the Beulah Miners football,
Sure.
and I don't know what that formation is called, but they have a couple slot backs and the quarterback. Like they're all like in a group. They're huddled together. It's kind of like a mini huddle.
Yeah.
They're all grouped up together, and the center is hiking it to a random guy, and they try to disguise who gets
gotcha.
the football. So
That's-
and it's kind of like that, except the slot backs are lined up wide, and the B back, the starting running back, of course, is in his usual spot. So
That's a next level move.
yeah.
Have
That's a
three.
big brain play right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something.
Potential to be at least.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, the mindset with this offense for Minot State is just, get chunk plays.
Right.
You're not going to get a lot of big aerial down the field throws out of it.
But when you're-
Once in a while, if it opens up the passing game, but
take it.
We'll see. Yeah,
If-
just
if you
take what
average-
you can get. Take what the defense gives you, essentially.
Exactly. And
If
when
you-
your top 3 rushers are averaging 7.79 and 5.5 yards a carry,
Mhm.
it's going to end up working out
And
pretty well for you.
Most of those were chunk plays, like 4 or 5 yards. Now, conference play, it may shorten to like 3 or 4,
Mhm.
but again, it's the playbook that Coach Shields runs. It's meant to, it's meant to be a grind. It puts an emphasis on the offensive line, just slot backs, follow the blockers, zone blocking scheme, all that stuff. So
This is Coach Shields' second year at MSU, correct?
Yep.
And so going off of last year is what it was. This year is already shaping up to be no worse by any stretch. What do we expect more improvements down the line? Do we expect the obviously when conference play comes, it's going to be difficult, but do we expect a more competitive Minot State, an equally competitive Minot State football team to what we saw
I
this
think so.
Thursday?
Yeah, because last year I don't have the numbers in front of me,
Mhm.
nor can I think of them off the top of my head. But I saw moments like even against the best, like Minnesota State, Mankato, we scored 25 on them.
Mhm.
Whereas in years past, it would be lose by 50, 60 or whatnot. It'd be a tough
It's
stretch.
brutal.
A holy
But
blow.
Coach Shields, for how much time he got to, establish a connection with some of the previous players from the old regime.
Yeah.
He was able to turn it into like they were able to move the ball at times,
Right.
and they were able to do things that I not to discredit the previous coaching staff or the
That's
previous
the hardest part.
regime. Like there were times where it's like they felt hopeless and just out of sync, like nothing was working. And Coach Shields has done a really good job of building up a culture and getting the players to bond more. And so
Everyone's
I
really
think
starting to embrace that.
yeah, and there is a thing going on campus that the students are, they're recognizing that these players
That's
sound a
neat.
little bit more positive now. Granted, there's a lot of turnover with the roster.
Mhm.
They feel good, after a non-conference win. I fully expect them, at least against Southwest Minnesota. They've had them in some games before, but just a few breaks didn't go their way, and I think they'll definitely stay close in this one. It'll be
It'll be
good
game.
test so far.
That's
so
fair.
to begin conference play. Yeah.
See, I'm curious if just the fact that you put together 4 quarters of football competitively, beat a team, first game of the season, if that doesn't build a lot of confidence internally.
Yeah.
When you start, you'll notice. So I don't track lower level college football as much as I track FBS, and you'll notice the turn in college football teams happens when they finally start believing. It's dumb, but when they start believing,
Yep.
and until then, third quarter, fourth quarter, they'll start. It's a close game, and they let go of it, and it's because they don't believe that they can win that game. That it's not always the talent deal. Sometimes you're playing Alabama. Alabama has third. Their third string is better than your first string, and so you're able to be competitive with them. But then the depth just gets you, and I get there's that, but there's also those games where it's like a tight game, and they can't win it because they don't believe. And if Minot State's able to get that confidence, what it sounds like they potentially are starting to get, then that's probably going to be a huge change in the outcome.
Just having that momentum in college football is so much of it's such a deal breaker.
Yeah, I think they needed something like that because again, it's been years of opening up the season, just go right into conference play, and a game like against Valley City, all the credit to them. Like I give much props to their quarterback, Noah Chambers. Like he's one tough son of a gun. The defense just kept sending so many blitz packages after him, and like he took hits for days. Like I gave him credit. They were battling, and some moments weren't as high for them, but they hung in there for a little bit against D2 squad. So
and then they got to the point where they had to start throwing the ball when you're down 24-0 at halftime. I think it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a good moment.
it's for
when you're running the triple option, it's a good moment.
It's a beautiful sight. The triple option is.
Well,
It's such a classic.
When you I'm saying when you have a 24-point lead with the triple option,
That's
your
exactly
money
what you want.
because you can run the clock. That you're built to run the clock.
Yeah,
That's exactly
I
what
think
you
our
want.
broadcast still went 3 hours long. Though.
Okay.
So yeah, it does go a long time.
Adds up fast. So Northern State next game, which is September 14th, and that'll be homecoming.
Yep.
So that's always a big
After
deal.
A road duel with Southwest Minnesota. So
Gotcha.
yeah, that's the home schedule. I
Yeah.
brought a bunch of pocket schedules
Get-
and posters.
You
with
got
me,
do
so.
you have the full schedule on it, or
Yes,
is it
I
only
do,
home?
Actually. I can bring up the
Yeah, let's look at that.
here. You can actually have this here.
Boom.
Yep.
Look at
So
that.
that one has the full schedule right there.
Yeah,
So.
you can take a look
Yeah.
yourselves. Beautiful branding done by Minot State. They always do a good job
Yep. I
getting
want
that.
to give a shout out to Sean Arbo. I believe Sean Arbo made these.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well
he
done.
made them and got them all printed up and nice. Marketing.
Yeah.
Minot State's
Yeah,
always had a great graphics department, whether it be with any
Yep.
of their online stuff or anything, even their billboards around town. They do
Always
do a
looks
great
good.
job.
Yep.
Cole
Sean Arbo,
Kruger.
the head photographer, and we've had some GAs in the past that have had a main focus on graphic design. They've had their stuff posted before and hanging up around town and whatnot.
Beautiful part about having a close knit university, we'll call it. So
Without a doubt.
very neat. So next week, Southwest Minnesota State, the 14th, Northern State homecoming, as mentioned. Minnesota State, the other one that we've been talking about, that's going to be a competitive one for them on the 21st, and then University of Sioux Falls, former home of Coach Kalen DeBoer of
really?
Alabama Crimson
I
Tide.
did not know that actually.
Yes,
Yep.
that's where he got his start. In October 5th, Wayne State, October 12th, Augustana, 19th, Bemidji State,
Battle
20.
of the Beavers.
Oh yes.
Yep.
26 Minnesota Duluth, and then ending it in November with Minnesota State Moorhead and Winona State. All right, you look at this schedule. You've probably been asked this question a million times. What's the record going to be?
Oh boy, definitely. I think more than one win.
Definitely more than one
I
win.
know it's
Hey.
it's I know it's pretty cliche, but I see there have been some games in the past where Minot State, they were able to hang in with Winona. I think last year. Actually, no, Winona and Sioux Falls. There was a game last year that ended 7-0 or 7-3 or something like that against Sioux Falls, and just like one more break that could have went their way, that could have won the game. But I think they definitely have a chance against Sioux Falls, Winona State. I fully expect that them to just be competitive in all of them, obviously. But yeah, Northern State, they're really high octane offense. That one they might have to turn into the air a little bit more often if you're Minot State.
Break out the helicopters.
Yep. Mankato's been good over the years. Wayne State as well. Bemidji State, I think for some games, like even if it doesn't turn into a winning season or like subpar 500, I'm looking at games like Winona State, Moorhead, and Sioux Falls, where if Minot State, if they can get on the better end of some breaks, some plays here and there, I think they have a shot to get at least four or five in there.
There you go.
10 or 11 game season.
4-7 or 5-6, somewhere in there.
Ideally undefeated, but if we're talking realistically, I think close. If they can remain competitive in some games, like they it looks like on paper they don't have a shot. That is a good sign, because like I said, they scored 25 against Mankato last year. Like in years past, that would have been way worse off than usual. Again, Wayne State as well, and don't count out Duluth either, because they're sneaky up in the upper northeast.
The thing is,
Minnesota.
If you're talking some of these where they have a very good chance. So if you're a low, very conservative approach, 4-7, but it takes two. You get those 4, takes 2 other just flipping your way. You're 6-5. You're
just like that.
Oh yeah,
just like that. You're on a winning season.
Yeah, it's just a few plays to go your way, and I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, but they were close. I won't lie to you guys. They were close against Sioux Falls. They were close against Winona State in the past, and heck, Southwest Minnesota. I'm sure. They lost by 5 points last year in the opener to the Mustangs. They can easily, have them too. So yeah, like teams like Mankato and Augustana, they're always going to be tops in the conference. They always have, like, I always hear that, talking to a professor like Mankato, they always get players from their backyard, because Minnesota's loaded. With
makes
guys
sense.
And,
Makes sense.
Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen came from Mankato. Fun fact, one of the former Minot State coaches, he was a recruiting coordinator at, I think it was Augustana, if I'm not mistaken. He actually he was the one that recruited CJ Ham.
Of course, Vikings legend, the fullback.
For the fullback for the Vikings. Yep.
Well done. Mm-hmm. Way to go. So you said beating a dead horse over here, but that just happens to be the Mustangs coming up on the 7th. So hopefully they do go ahead and beat a horse next Sunday or next Saturday.
Yeah, horsing around.
That's right. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
All right.
And I think and I'll say this here, I think for the start of conference play, like again, coach, it's good that he was able to, focus on one thing and have to worry less about, having to expand his playbook. Cause I think that kind of gives them the upper hand of, giving Southwest Minnesota, they have our film to look off of our broadcast. Right. All it is, it's just the same flex bone formation, and there was no throwing the ball. So I think for the start of conference play, I think coach can have few things up his sleeve and maybe open up the playbook a little bit more, because competition, it is going to get
have a little more
tougher
fun with it. So we can, without giving too much away, we can expect some more passing attempts going forward.
I think so. I think at some point they're going to have to be. Even coach says, they're not going to be an aerial circus. I mean, the pounding the rock, running the ball is going to be the number one thing.
What, the Minot Moving Company up front? I think is what they referred to him as. And
Jake Swerple coined that nickname as the offensive line.
What a guy!
If they can keep running the way they did, they shouldn't not.
Oh yeah, and again, it's going to work. Yeah, it's guaranteed to work. It's just you're limited to only chunk plays.
Yeah,
like it's a matter of, does the quarterback keep it, or does he pitch it to a slot back, or does he hand it off to the running back up the middle? Yeah, that's where that triple option idea comes in.
Tricky stuff.
Yeah, and again,
going for the defense when you're playing live.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's the old version of the run pass option, the RPO, which is,
we see a few RPOs here and there and some bootlegs and whatnot. So yeah. I think the better the competition is going to fill up here. Now we're going to get into the grind of the schedule. I think there are going to be times where coach may have to open up the playbook more than he wants to, but. Again, that's just football.
That's all right. That's all right.
It'll be good to watch in the long run, too.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of watch, one thing I don't think we mentioned, we talked about you guys doing your live broadcasts. Where can we view it at? How can we view the live broadcast?
So if you go on the Beavers website, there's a little tab that says watch.
Sure.
That pulls up nsicnetwork.com/MSU Beavers. That has all of our broadcast schedule. It even has some broadcast scheduled for when they're on the road, too.
Okay.
So again, that's where that NSIC contract comes in with all the Division II institutions.
Fantastic.
Like every single school in the conference has to have a live stream of some kind. It can just be as simple as a camera
set up,
a camera just panning left and right.
Do some people just have that?
Field. Was that?
Do some people just have that
still?
I think
you're in the broadcast booth, you ain't watching that.
For some sports, like it all depends on staffing, because we all know how staffing is nowadays, but it's just about getting people to come to work and stuff. So
this is an interesting thing that probably doesn't get enough thought of, people don't think about enough, and that's how technical this is. And you mentioned you guys put a lot of work into your broadcast stuff this year. You have replay going on, and people are so spoiled by ESPN, where you got 20 different camera angles of one play, and
you got the bottom line running with all the scores and stats.
Yeah, this all takes a lot of work to make this happen. Yep. So it's interesting to hear you talk about some of that stuff too, of the work that goes in just to make a live broadcast. I mean, there's a lot of cords running, a lot of feet to make that happen. Yeah, it's a lot of work there. All right, so we talked about football. Anything else you want to talk about football?
Well, we did talk about offense. We didn't talk about how good MSU's defense was on Thursday.
Fair.
Yeah.
They only held down 7 points. I mean, regardless of anything.
So the record is 416 rushing yards as a school record. 7 points is also the least given up in the Division II era. So ever since Minot State joined the Northern Sun, that is a new record. But granted, against Valley City, it's still worth something.
Exactly,
it's college football.
Regardless,
it's tough. And
2 interceptions.
Was that? Oh yeah, two picks, and I think Minot State also had a fumble on offense that was recovered by Valley City, but they still won the turnover battle. So
that's what matters.
Was huge. And I said this when talking to coach, talking to coach and the starting running back during post game. That turning point was when Nalu, I'm going to butcher his last name, so I'm just going to call him by his first name, Nalu, number 31. He had that interception. Valley City was driving and he picked it off. It was a toe tapper midfield.
Oh no.
And that immediately killed all the momentum for Valley City and turned everything back in Minot State's favor. But for the defense, I think it was kind of similar to the offense. Don't show your hand too much, and give Southwest Minnesota State little to work with when scouting, when watching film. because it like all day it was just all blitz packages,
Yeah.
like the send in the house.
They were just sending it.
Yeah, because and Valley City, like they knew it was coming.
Yeah.
They just had a hard time stopping it. So they had
That's
to,
the worst feeling in the world.
they had to rely on like just dumping it off to the running back in the flat
Yeah.
and
You have to
just
pick up all those
screen balls.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep.
They make it those blitz pack. Someone that played high school center.
Oh yeah.
No, I can vaguely understand where they're coming from there, but no, it's never fun to know that the house is coming and
Yep.
you have to try to pick everyone up individually,
Mhm.
and someone's going to be left alone, and the quarterback has to get the ball out in time.
Yeah, and it like 95% of the time, and Valley City, credit to them, like their O-line, they knew it was coming. They did a good job picking up at moments, but
When
there are
it's the
just a
whole
lot of
game.
times. Yeah, it's just sending the house the entire way through. And now Southwest, all they have to look at is just all blitzing, and how do they game plan for that? And
Mhm.
that's again, we didn't see too many more exotic looks from Minot State. Just simple as get the quarterback. So, yeah.
Basic blitz packages.
Mhm.
It'll be fun seeing conference play go ahead and then
Oh, yeah.
really start to open it up on offense and defense.
So, what other sports should Minot residents be on the lookout for? Obviously, we got all of them, but come on, what are some of the featured sports that you're like, hey, let's take a look at?
The good ones.
Hockey is a very widely popular, not just around campus, but there are people
Mhm.
around the city of Minot. They love their hockey.
Right? Yeah.
This is a hockey
yeah.
town. Like
It
you
is.
go
The Toros,
away
which I
from
know
that,
isn't
say, the
mine.
Minot Toros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Pepsi Center between Toros and Beavers games,
It's a
it can be
beautiful
packed in there.
complex.
Yeah. And it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Fantastic area to watch.
And there's been a lot of success that's been had in hockey in recent years.
And there's actually a time where Minot almost became the host town of Kraft Hockeyville. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Nope.
But Kraft partners with the National Hockey League
Wow,
to bring a preseason game, an NHL preseason game.
that's
to,
crazy.
any town around the country. They have it up in Canada too. So that there's
Yeah.
like a Kraft Hockeyville in Canada and one in the US. And Minot was a Final Four finalist.
That was
Wow.
right when the Pepsi,
Right
the
after
new
it got
Mesa
built.
got built.
Yep.
Yep, I do.
Mhm.
vaguely
So how do we get
remember
this to happen in the future?
Just that the hockey community come together again and
Come on, guys.
nominate Minot. It's been a while since I've been on there because I
Yeah.
don't think Minot's gotten close since then. I'd have to ask, but
That's crazy.
actually,
you
fun
know.
fact, I did once interview a Toros player that got drafted by the Anaheim Ducks. In the
Oh,
sixth round
wow.
one time, Kyle Kukkonen.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, he's a really good 200-foot player, can skate like the wind, and but I also do have some other insider info. So Minot State hockey, the women will have a couple games in the Eck rink, so that's the middle rink that separates
Okay.
between the Pepsi rink and the other far rink.
Mhm.
The one that we get to
And-
go on an open ice night.
And the men's team will be playing at the All Seasons for a couple games this season.
Oh, okay.
So,
Very cool.
yep. So that'll be
All
keep
seasons-
keep an eye on for
That'll
that.
be
For
fun to watch.
All
schedule.
seasons has
Yep.
to be a different kind of environment too.
It
Has to be
is.
pretty fun.
It's fun when hockey's in there. I've
Yeah.
never been to a Toros or Beaver game there. I've just been used.
They're
hockey
awesome.
before, but it's a fun
Yep.
environment. For
and
sure.
the Toros, and got to give a shout out to them, like Ken Oda, Cody Campbell,
Yeah.
and company. And I'm good buddies even with Kobe Brolt, the one of the marketing guys. Like they broke a record for attendance this past season.
Wow.
Really?
And
That's
they
fantastic.
were averaging like close to 2,000, if not
Right.
right on the money.
They almost
2,000
sell
people
out
per
every game.
Yeah, people love
crazy.
it. People will go to hockey, and they have all the goods, all the drinks, all the concessions, all the merchandise. It's awesome.
I think one thing we can gather from the last few years, especially post COVID, is Minot's kind of a sports town. If it's a popular enough sport, Minot people are going to show up. Look at the new the Hot Tots; they've been extremely
Mhm.
popular the past 2
Minot
seasons.
High won the state championship in
They-
football last year.
exactly.
Yeah.
Every Minot High game is almost packed in the stand.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
Stands. Now we have Minot North starting up too. There's just a ton of opportunity for people to go out and watch sports, and I think people
Absolutely,
in
yeah.
Minot love it,
Mhm.
especially if we get a competitive team.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
helps.
no, coach. I can tell you this, Coach Shields. He and the coaching staff. They're working their butts off to turn this thing around. And like I said, I see 4 or 5 possible wins, like in it, like in the game, close, competitive. Obviously, like I said, the top guns are the top guns of the conference.
Of course.
But just staying in it, like being competitive. I
Yeah.
think, you couldn't ask for anything better. So,
So hockey, any other sports you're looking forward to this year?
Basketball. The men were they were ranked in Division II last year in the nation. Got as high as I want to say 15.
That's right.
Wow.
Yep. So
They got a bunch of local guys, right?
yes,
like Ben-
Jackson Gunville, unreal shooter.
Gotcha.
He can let it rip from the arc.
Yeah, Ben Bull.
Yeah, Ben Bull. He was a nice 3-and-D guy.
Sure.
You know,
Is he still, or is he done?
so he's done.
Oh,
he
my
still,
bad. He was
he
just
still
done.
has no. It's fine. I mean, I guess he still has a year of eligibility,
Okay.
but he opted not to use it. But
Gotcha.
he was a really good key role player.
Yeah.
You know, in the starting lineup. You know, played hard defense, and when he was open for three, you know, he would always take it. So he's
Well,
that
yeah.
3-and-D guy.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
If you're open, might as well.
Just
Yeah.
shoot it.
I think Trey Brandt's going to have, you know, a big coming out party. Like he can shoot the rock, and you know, he's very quick, athletic, and yeah, I think Coach even has high hopes for him as well. Trey
That's
Brandt
cool.
out of Beulah. I'm trying to think
See?
off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
We're putting you on the spot with everything.
No,
Exactly.
It's
I get it,
the
yeah.
fun. It's the fun
Yep.
bit.
Mhm.
We're just kind of chilling here. We told him that we were very casual here, just here to have a good time. And so it's interesting to learn about it, and it's interesting to learn your perspective on it as you have some of that insider
But I will
access.
say too, you know, come out to as many games as you can.
Mhm.
Volleyball and women's soccer got started. Women's soccer, although they've had kind of a tough time scoring goals this year, they
Yep.
are still like right around middle of the pack has been kind of their MO the past year and a half or so. They made it all the way to the NSIC title game.
Wow.
In Coach Perez's, I guess it was his interim tenure before he had that tag removed. He was the interim coach when they made it all the way to the conference title game.
Jeepers.
Lost, didn't make it to the regional, but
Still
no, they
fantastic.
still, yeah, they have, no, they should still be fairly competitive.
When talking about local talent, we forgot one. He's a freshman. He might not be playing much this year. Carson Yale.
Carson Yale. Yep.
Sure.
So he's been dealing with an ACL.
Oh,
That's
and
not good.
This goes back to his junior year of high school, and I
Right.
guess recently,
Remember
I
that.
don't want to speak on behalf of him, but
Yeah.
I think recently he
I had to hang
had
up the shoes.
nagging again. Like I don't know if he fully re-aggravated it, but it's been nagging him.
Ah,
So he
that's a
had to
bummer.
use a red shirt, a medical red shirt, and
Gotcha. That's no fun.
But yeah, he'll once he's fully ready to go, like I think he can be, even if he's starting off like 50% or 75%, like
6'9".
his size, he could be
exactly.
you know,
It's
that new
huge.
force down the middle.
So Max Groom, but he's from Perth, Australia, and it seems like he's not the only one that I've seen be from the down on whatever the right name is for that. How does that connect? Have you ever talked to Coach Merkin? How does that connection work? How are we getting people from Australia to go to Minot?
It's crazy because it's ironic too, because the women's coach is from Australia. And
here we go.
like, over the years, they've built a great connection with, you know, the Australian people down there, like coaches, facilities,
Gotcha.
and just all the Aussies down there. Like
Yeah.
they have connections, Coach Merkin and Coach Clark, and
Yeah, we have
they're able to attract some of the best talent.
You
Like
also have Dale, Braylon
yeah.
Dale,
Braylon Dale. Yeah, he'll be a backup center.
but he's from Perth,
some
and
point, yeah.
he's
He'll-
a freshman,
he could get
No,
some
he's a
playing
forward.
time soon.
sophomore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
else?
interesting stuff.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how those you got Van de Green, however you say his name, Australia.
Love that guy. Yeah.
Uh,
Like I love everyone there. So
Yeah,
And basketball's been such a building sport in Australia the past
Yeah.
decade
Oh, yeah.
or so too. I mean, you've seen even the Olympics from a month or so ago now. They were up in, I don't know if they got to the Final Four, but I know they were in the.
Oh, yeah, that's
were-
right.
Conference
Just recently, yeah.
they were very competitive in
Yeah.
that and
And we
breakdancing.
have guys in the past like Tyler Rudolph, like he's playing professional in Australia. Max Cody,
Really?
he's also playing
Way
professionally.
to go.
So I would not be shocked if one day they're going to be in the MSU Hall of Fame. I would assume Tyler, if he's not in already, he should be. And Max Cody will definitely get in soon. So
Boom.
it'll just be a matter of time.
That's
So
exciting.
You didn't like my joke? Maybe you didn't hear it.
I didn't catch it.
Australia is very good at basketball and breakdancing at the Olympics.
Oh, gosh. So good that breakdancing is going to be out of the 2028 Olympics.
I'll
What a-
say I never watched any of that breakdancing. It was probably cool for a moment, but it's like as an Olympic sport.
That's Olympic sport. There's
it's
a
kinda
whole
weird. Yeah.
there's a whole deal with the person from Australia
Yeah, and how they got there, and
it's worth looking up.
it's a whole thing.
All right. Well, Cole, it's been a pleasure having you on. Just talking Minot State sports. It doesn't get enough attention in Minot.
Oh yeah, and I'll say this too. Just the campus itself, going away from athletics, like the Minot State, the university, it doesn't get enough credit.
If it's from Minot, it can't be good.
Like I mean, high schoolers from around here, like they'll say, "Oh, Minot, that's boring." But then, like once you start school, like it happened to me too.
Right.
Like I started school here as a freshman, and I ran into some people that said they weren't going to go here. And I said, what happened?
Yeah.
Were you so sure about what you said about Minot State earlier? But no, Minot State, just like the city of Minot State's been growing to, implement more more stuff to do for the student body, like more work study, more events on campus. Got to give another shout out to MSU Life, Erin Hughes, and all of her staff. They put on a great show. There's like bingo. There's
they're very active on
build
social media.
Legos. Yes, social media. They have Legos, free food. They have.
All right, the free food got me. The bingo was not a clincher for me, but the free food, that sounds interesting.
Oh yeah, especially it's like the perfect marketing ploy for
college
new students on campus. Like
right. Get them to buy in.
Get as many free things as you can.
That's
especially
right.
Food.
What 18-year-old doesn't love free food?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, very, very interesting. And Minot State got a hold of you. They won't let you go.
Yes. Yeah. No, I love being here. It's a great working environment. I love working with the people I am with right now. And I'm excited for the future, excited for what athletics has to offer. We're just getting started, and homecoming weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend. It's going to be crazy. So
you can become the official voice of Minot State Athletics.
I'd like to. We'll see. We got other voices going on right now, and plus I have other roles to fulfill. Currently, I'm also taking stats. And
you're always so nice about stuff like this.
So.
Come on, Cole. Let's politic for it right now.
I want to do a little bit of everything.
Future voice of Minot State Athletics. He's open to it. If Minot State's open to it, we got this connection right here, guys. Yes, let's make it happen. You've put in a lot of work there. It's always admirable to see the amount of hard work that you put in. You're always working. You're always working on stuff. And I mean that from somebody that views from afar. So way to go. Thanks for coming on today. It's been great talking Minot State Athletics. Thanks for all these goodies. The Minot State football schedule.
Here's
we
soccer as well. Soccer. Now, men's club soccer, they're not affiliated with athletics. So they're just kind of their own deal for now.
That's a classic Jason Spain move.
Yeah. Yeah. Football. I also got to get
all the stuff.
Volleyball out here too.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's listening.
Here you go. There's that.
There we go. Boom.
Yep.
All right. Next
schedule for you.
Next Minot Talk. We'll have these on the wall behind us.
Yeah, we're gonna have
all right. We'll be plugging Minot State Athletics at the next Minot Talk. So this has been great. Thanks for joining us today, Cole. We'll have to have you on again next time. Minot football gets one of them dubs.
Sometime. Yep.
All right. Next
end of football season. We'll see.
End of football season would be great.
Sure.
Yeah.
But next Minot State dub, if they win,
just
anticipate a text from me.
Sounds good.
or
I'm
message.
looking forward.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank
Perfect.
you so much for having me.
Thank you.
In the demanding world of oil and gas, precision, safety, and efficiency are non-negotiable. Unmanned operator drone services revolutionizes how you monitor, inspect, and manage your operations. With cutting-edge technology and expert operators, we deliver real-time data, detailed reports, and actionable insights for our valuable clients. Why risk the safety of your team or waste precious time? Our drones access even the most challenging areas with ease, reducing downtime and enhancing safety across your sites. We take the guesswork out of your projects by offering LiDAR, mapping, and inspection services so that your projects stay safe, on budget, and on time. Unmanned operator drone services, where technology meets safety, precision, and efficiency. Contact us today to elevate your operations. Yes, pun intended.
Hey, that was a great chat.
We're back.
Cole is fantastic.
He's a legend. I loved listening to
Oh
him.
man, he is a legend. Love him. He's put in so much work over there at Minot State.
God.
They are so blessed to have him, and they should actually make him the voice of Minot
I
Athletics.
think they should. I love to hear just some of the behind the scenes stuff that goes into their broadcasting
Yeah.
department. It's a fantastic talk. He had great conversation, super knowledgeable about all things Minot Athletics.
He cares a lot. So some upcoming events. One of them is coming up September, not this weekend, but no,
LeBoam.
yeah, is that this
That's
weekend?
this weekend.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
this weekend.
Yes.
I sat down with Dr. Emerson Eads. We chatted about that. So go check out that podcast. I can't pronounce it. I let him pronounce it. The thing that's really interesting about that interview with Dr. Eads is that his passion,
Oh, gosh,
man,
he
it's
loves it.
always neat to talk with passionate people when they love what they do. You can just feel that, and it makes you get passionate about whatever you are focused on.
I don't love the opera or the theater necessarily.
Why
It's
not?
always intrigued me, but it's just never been my forte.
Way to get enemies.
But after watching your interview with
All right, you're
Dr.
going?
Yeah, I want. Yeah, I plan on it this weekend.
Yeah,
I
see,
he
there you
got-
go.
Like you said, the passion. In it.
You
He
can
got
you can
so-
feel his
He
passion.
got you enthralled just listening to it. It's not even an English presentation. It's
No.
Italian. It's gonna be. I think
Are you
it's-
going to be watching the opera, or are you going to be looking at the subtitles?
I'll watch the opera.
All right.
I will try to be as immersed into it as I can. I feel
You
like
should-
that's your best.
You should find somebody that knows French and have them translate for you.
I know. A
Just
French
have it in your ear. Yeah, there you go.
I'll
Perfect.
I'll just FaceTime him.
Yeah.
It'll
Have
be
them
great.
translate it the whole time for you.
Oh, this is gonna be gold.
Yeah.
Do you plan on going though?
I will be out of town.
Oh, that's right. You leave. You're gonna be, and you won't be here next week either, will you?
No, I will not be in Minot next
Not
week.
In Minot, at least. That's it. Okay.
So yeah, like you're trying to make it where people can break into my house or something while I'm gone, bro. Come on.
I know. I'm setting you up for failure here, my guy.
So MSU Arnett Hall,
yeah.
Harnett Hall,
Yeah.
they got an extreme makeover, $1 million. And so on Thursday, you can stop by. Business after hours costs $5 to get in, but you can check it out. It's a work of art. I've seen pictures. No, literally, it's a work of art. But
Hartnett Hall.
definitely something worth stopping by and checking out on Thursday. I plan on being there, so if you want to run into me, I'll be there, but nobody will want to do that.
There you
But
go. I think it's
nonetheless,
$5 to get in. something like that.
$5, not too bad.
Go mingle with Jonathan. Get to meet him. He's super nice.
Yeah,
You'll love him.
you probably don't want to meet me, but you do want to stop by Arnett Hall.
You betcha.
Dakota Flea Market, if you're looking for some fleas, that's happening.
Back in town this weekend. Finally,
right,
after
there
the
you go.
summer off.
So tell me, where did the term flea market come from?
That's a great question. Do you know the answer?
I do not know
I
the
don't
answer.
either.
Yeah, it can't be good.
And another thing I saw too. There's the Magic City Discovery
Yeah.
Center.
I don't know about this one.
There's an adult.
That
only
can't be
night,
good.
But the
That
thing-
can't be good.
It's from 4 to 5:30.
Good.
It's not like it's a late night. thing
Good,
For adults
good.
Only.
That's
So,
good. Because that cannot be a good thing.
Well, I saw adults only. You assume at first there's going to be some alcohol or something, but no, it's.
Terrible. What is this
Perfect.
promoting? What is this guy promoting?
I know I'm awful, but some of the fun stuff coming up in Minot this week.
It doesn't even say that there's gonna be alcohol there. So maybe they're just saying get rid of the kids, experience it because they know if the parents have a good time, the parents will bring the kids. Maybe it's a
That's
complete
possible.
marketing ploy.
I think that's exactly what it's going.
We're going with that and we're moving on.
Some news that happened this past week.
Dude, I'll tell you some news.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a friend,
We're at.
bless his heart. I know I don't got many of them, but I have one. And he challenged me to run 7 miles a day for the entire day. Sorry, 7 miles a week, a mile a day for the month. It's August.
How'd that go?
I did it.
Good for you.
I'm still here.
How much weight did you lose?
I lost some.
Good for you.
It's all, if you want to find my weight, you can see it all on 16th Street. But anyways, I went running last night. No longer August, but I went running anyways.
Good for
Keep
you.
it going, ran 2 miles.
Exactly.
And while I was running, I'm like, dude, that does not sound right. So I listened to make it worse. I normally go run at like 9 or 10 at
So
night.
A little later,
Late.
right around when it's getting dark out.
Yeah, it's at this point it's dark
It's
out.
Yeah, now it is.
And I listen to a story when I run.
Okay.
And the story is typically some type of one where somebody's trying to run for their life.
Sure.
All right. And
Okay.
and so like they're
It
they're
motivates
just
you to-
trying to survive. People are after them. They're detectives, FBI, those are the kind
Whoever-
of stories I listen to, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm always a little more alert when I'm
You're
running
right.
because I'm always thinking about that stuff, right?
And it's dark out. So that
Yeah,
doesn't
it
help
just feels like you're right in the middle of the story. It makes the story very real. And so last night I'm running. I'm like, man, that does not sound right. That can't be good. I look back and there's somebody riding their bike, and it's a very noisy bike. I'm like, okay, whatever. That can't be it. Hopefully they don't come after me. And then I'm like, no, that's not it. I look back again, and there's this car, and he's going along, and he has no tire on.
Wait a second. What night was this?
It was
This
last night.
Okay.
It was Monday night.
Okay.
Okay. And so then a couple minutes, I'm like, nah, this guy, there's a high speed chase, 40 miles an hour, high speed chase going on 16th Street. And this guy with no tire on is driving along, going at it. And he was going all over Minot. I think they said that it was finally close to Roosevelt Park. I live on North Hill, close to Roosevelt School, not Park, but Roosevelt School is where they finally
got him stopped.
got him. Yeah, got him.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So
a low speed, high speed pursuit in Minot last night.
right. Yeah. It was epic. There was several police cars. I actually got to see his tire come off.
Oh, really? You watched it come off even then?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you have to understand I'm running.
Yeah.
So I'm out of breath.
Yeah.
I can't see too straight.
You're
Blurred vision.
Yeah. You're not quite doubled over, but
almost. I'm pretty out of shape. But I saw a police lady have to pull her car over and get that tire out of the road. Now there was two others that were behind it, and then there was two more that drove by. I don't know what was their options. Go and try to pin the guy, wreck their car, and what was the win? Because the guy couldn't go very fast because he lost a tire, right? Yeah. So they were just waiting for him to finally give up, and it is what it is.
Lo and behold, he finally
did.
That
happened last night, Tuesday or Monday night. So
that's wild. Just complete offshoot. It's just wild that coincidentally on Sunday night at about 2 a.m. going right by my house, I woke up to something extremely loud. A car drove by that was on a rim.
Oh, nice.
Really weird.
Wow. Yeah.
Just saying. Probably completely different.
What kind of car?
It was like a Saturn. It was an older car. I want to say like.
Nah, this had to be a Buick.
Okay, fair. Wild stuff though.
Wild stuff.
And you see that North Dakota Highway Patrol officer. That got in.
Yeah, that was a bad deal.
It was unfortunate.
Yeah, there's been some weird stuff with all that.
I-94.
It's just sad. Yeah, and they hit someone in the car with them. Just
crazy
bad deal.
Situation.
All right. Recent news. There was the also partial update on the bomb threat.
Yeah. Did you ever hear about what actually ended up happening? So apparently I shouldn't sound excited. That's terrible, but
it was a bomb.
It was, yeah. It was a bomb threat that got issued to partial school, and they had to call in people from Minot Air Force Base actually to come help them sweep the school, go through it and everything. There
was an actual bomb.
There wasn't. No, they didn't find anything.
See, that's the classic bomb threat in North Dakota.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, and there was nothing.
They called in the Air Force
to help them.
Unbelievable.
Yep. And lo and behold, nothing was found. School resumed, I think, last Wednesday or Thursday, and it's been fine ever since.
Great. Fantastic. That sounds about right.
It is. It's, I mean, frankly, best case scenario.
Have you ever wondered what a radio... Well, you know how in the big cities, they give you traffic updates, typically on the radio, because that's when people listen?
Sure, yeah.
Have you ever wondered what that would be like in Minot?
That's a great question. Between the times of 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., it's going to be busy.
Yeah. What? I mean, there's some congestion at the stoplight there on
Burdick and Broadway's a little backed up.
Right. Yeah.
You got them down past the Planet Pizza light.
You can expect this clearing out by 8:15 when everybody's at work.
Exactly.
That's.
Oh, I love it. That would be golden.
Yeah.
You gonna start that, Jonathan?
No.
You gonna start?
I don't.
The Daily Minot.
your noon
Road
traffic
reports?
update. Yeah. I don't plan on it. It's not something that's part of the Dakotans' future at this point. But we're always open.
If you're interested in it, by all means, let us know. Maybe we'll look into it.
Yeah, that something you said made me think about that, but I forget what it was.
Fair enough.
What we were talking about, but
well, any other news you have?
That's what's happening tonight.
I think I heard it's something big, something relevant to what we do, right?
Minot City Council is going to be convening in the chambers at City Hall.
Because yesterday was a holiday. It was Labor Day.
It was. So we did not labor.
No, not at all. But 5:30 tonight, city council's meeting. Going to be regular meeting tonight. We got some-
Eminent domains gonna be discussed. That's
Yeah.
always a great topic
It is,
when
it'll be
the city is
interesting.
taking properties
And
for
there
good
was
reason.
A resident that wrote in a letter. So you can, I know we've mentioned this before on the show.
But we'll
but-
mention it again.
Of course. So you can go and look at their agendas that the city council produces. It's through the minotnd.portal.civicclerk.
Okay, yeah,
It's
right
a-
there.
Yeah.
Just Google it.
Well, maybe not that specifically, but that's where you find it at. And you can, it has the big breakdown of the sheet that you get at every city council meeting that has the main talking points, but it also breaks down all of the extensive memos that are included in it. And in this case specifically, it has a letter that was sent from a resident that is in part of that eminent domain buyout.
Yikes.
And yeah, they mention a
They were
little.
happy. They're like, I'm so glad you're going to take my property.
Lo and behold, they weren't that quite. So they want to make sure it's fair market value is not just compensation. It's simply a number the city wants to pay for a vital asset to its project. So it's not a typical open market sale according to them. So they want to know why it's treated as such. And one other thing I know, there was some confusion on why they weren't told in November 2023 that there was a possibility of they could lose their homes.
They wanted to be told that date. Why? Why is that date important?
If they feel they were dehumanized, purposely left in the dark. So they say there's been many opportunities for transparency within the ongoing project demands that are now on the people impacted to burden. Reflection of these acquisitions is also found in the 2025 city budget. If homeowners were adequately informed of the potential taking of their home, they could have planned.
They could have like sold it.
Or something. Yeah.
No, they couldn't have.
It's
gonna be taken.
Couldn't have. Yeah. If it's
Yeah.
eminent domain, no, yeah, exactly. You couldn't have in that situation. But in their case, they held off on home improvements as no guarantee of compensation. They invoiced improvement receipts dating back to November of 2023 and totaled thousands of dollars.
Oh, I see what they're saying.
Yeah. They're willing.
So they actually did the home improvements,
Yeah.
or they bought the stuff for it.
Yeah, they have everything ready. And then because now they're being informed, they're not pursuing anything. So they're a little upset. And
They are
obviously there was 11
not
total
having-
properties that I saw.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, up for
All part of the plan.
it is that good old flood project. That's
Still alive
it's
and
never
thriving.
never ending.
So we'll talk about that next week.
Definitely, we'll go into depth on it. Everything that happened.
I think I still plan on being a part of this next week.
Yeah, you'll be there. We'll zoom you in. I'll be leading. I'll be producing again. It'll be fun. Everyone will be able to hear us this time, and we won't be backwards,
Unbelievable.
I promise.
Unbelievable. This guy.
I'm excited. Unless you want to produce,
Yeah, it's a good
Not-
question.
not-
We'll have to talk
yeah.
about some other time, not right now.
not now. then, for sure.
Extended stay leisure also going to be popping up.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I looked into it a little bit. So right now, the city of Minot imposes a 3% fee on all of their and on anyone that's renting a hotel room or that is under 30 days.
So do you think of going to a motel as renting a motel room? Because I certainly don't think
That's
of it
not
as
how I-
renting.
Yeah, that's not at all how I.
Okay.
But the
Anyways, I
technicality of
digress.
it, yeah. And so you have that on any hotel room that's under 30 days long in their booking. So now they're looking to add a $1 per day fee onto any hotel room.
Leisure fee.
Yeah, it's a leisure fee for
See,
anything that's
that
over
sounds
30
so
days.
wonderful. Oh, what do I get with my leisure fee? Oh, you get to stay at the motel.
Yeah. And I think they're projected $75,000 for the first year's
And what are we doing with the money?
it will be going into the used for general improvements for city funds, I believe. or city
Yeah.
projects. If I
Yeah.
saw that right. I'm sure they'll have a lot more to say tonight.
Oh, yeah, they will. They'll have about 3 hours. That's right. I said it.
You're calling that? I think. Gosh,
How long are we going
I'm
tonight?
not gonna.
How long are we going tonight?
So here was my gut reaction. I thought it looked like a shorter one because
it does.
They initially the first thing after the mayor and city manager attorney report, they go right into their consent items, which normally they have some kind of public hearing beforehand. So never say
Chance
never.
for a short city council, hour and a half.
It's happened before, and
No, if there's not budget stuff, but that eminent domain could be a thing.
Yeah, that could go on for a bit. There's some
The leisure
contract
fee, those are
amendments
the time.
for flood control properties. I can't see that going on for too long. the Visit Minot Services Agreement, the city, nothing really bid with those. There's the bids for snow removal operations for the airport, stuff that seemingly shouldn't take a long
All right,
time.
this council direction on parking ordinance, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I was going to get to that one. That
I got tired of whatever you're talking about, so I just went to it.
No, you're good. You're good. That was next anyways. So yeah, it's as currently written, the city ordinance allows up to a maximum of 48 hours for street parking of vehicles legally parked in the closest possible proximity to the property at which the owner or principal operator of the vehicle has established their residence. And now it's recommended that the city council determine whether to update that ordinance to limit parking of a motor home, travel trailer, camping trailer, fifth wheel, enclosed utility, whatever it may be, or on any street for a period not to exceed 24 hours, unless that said vehicle is moved a distance of more than 1 block or 300 feet.
See, that's interesting.
That is. Do you think that'll get passed? Do you think there's going to be people that are upset by that?
Yeah.
Do you think anyone's going to come to the city council meeting tonight and talk about this?
No, because I don't think anybody knows about it. I mean, very few people know about it.
And I guess on the flip side too. So this is
See,
this isn't an agenda item.
maybe we need to move to Minot Talk to Mondays.
Maybe we could.
Way more interesting to preview these things.
Right? And the flip side of this too is as we're previewing this, the things we think could be important.
Oh, they
just
typically
completely-
we thought that President Janser's letter was going to be important, and it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was just here it is.
There it is.
Like the things we find.
Nah,
important,
we still think it's important. I still think it's important.
of course, and it is important. It's just, will it actually be a topic of large discussion
Right.
at this council meeting or not?
This could be very annoying.
It could.
Like I kind of want to get a trailer, but I don't know if I necessarily have space for it in my potential driveway. So it's gonna potentially end up on the street
So then
and
theoretically, you have to move it
down the block.
every day. You have to like move it down and back.
Yeah, because it has to move 300 feet. And driving around the block and parking it back is not considered moving.
No, not at all. So you'd have to have a neighbor a block away that would be okay with you parking it there every other day.
Well, he can park his at mine.
Yeah, it'll just be a flip flop, right?
Yeah, we'll just make sure they're different colors.
Yes, it'll be fine. I feel
Yeah,
like that
see-
has a potential to.
Yeah, but in a neighborhood, like I can see downtown. I can see, and they have rules for downtown,
Mhm.
but I can see in some of the streets, but in neighborhood, in certain neighborhoods, I could see, like if you lived on 16th Street, like keep your cars off of the street, man. You drive down the hill and there's people parked on the street. It gets tight.
It does, and it turns from like it's a tight two cars going through. All of
Yeah.
a sudden, now you have to wait for someone to go past, and you got to hide behind
Yeah,
the car.
there
and
can be some difficulties there.
especially
So
if there's a big truck coming up or something, and you like it presents a lot of.
on roads like that, I get it, but typically you'll find no parking signs and stuff like that.
This is
But
true.
if it's in an actual neighborhood, then I don't see why it's a concern.
Yeah, if it's a purely residential area,
Yeah,
and maybe there's more to it that I haven't quite seen, but I feel like there's not.
sure we'll be hearing some great discussion on it.
Find about it. Find
And
out
I
about
mean
it
that.
tonight.
I do mean that. We'll
Not
have
gonna
good
run.
discussion on that.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot coming tonight. Worst case, yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday to talk about it all.
And guess what comes out tomorrow?
What's out tomorrow? What happens?
Tomorrow,
Do we have a drum roll button?
probably, but you know what the button I'll hit.
Be the booze.
Yeah. So tomorrow we have our first episode
Number one.
of Let's Talk About It, Minot, with Rob Fuller.
Uh-oh. The city councilman, Rob Fuller?
The city councilman
He's
Rob
hosting
Fuller.
a podcast?
It's gonna be legendary.
This
Only-
is going to be shocking.
Only here at the Dakotan.
Do we have any hints on to who he's going to be hosting with?
So this first one that he's doing, it's all by himself.
The
Oh,
solo
that goes.
show.
Down the road, he'll be co-hosting it, or not co-hosting. He'll still be the host,
Yeah.
but he'll have people that he'll have interviewing on, and there's potential that even further down the road, it'll turn into a live show where you can call in and ask him questions.
Wow. Look at that, folks. Talk to city councilman, potential to talk to city councilman Rob Fuller. And
Directly.
exactly. And at the bare minimum, you can definitely go comment on any of these videos that come out. And you can.
Oh, yeah.
He will. I can guarantee you. He'll be looking at
Yeah,
those
he'll read
comments.
and he'll, if appropriate, he will respond.
Exactly.
So that's
That is
gonna
extremely exciting.
be dropping tomorrow at 9 a.m. Gonna become a weekly. Well, we're not quite sure on the schedule. It'll be bi-weekly or weekly podcast. We'll get that nailed down, but definitely excited for that. A lot of great things coming there.
Looking forward to that.
Thursday, we have an interview with chair of the Indy GOP, Republican Party. Gonna be having that with Sandy Sanford.
There we go.
Dropping on
That's
Thursday.
exciting. How did that interview go?
It went long.
Was it?
It was a good
I
discussion.
look forward to it then. I love
Yeah.
the long form stuff.
We got an interview coming out with Scott Samuelson on his view of the budget.
Fantastic. Last little bit of the budget chronicles coming there.
Well, for city council, but then we also are jumping
for the city,
to
exactly.
commission
And the school board, we still have
and
stuff
school
to do.
board.
Yep.
Have an interview. Yeah, that basically wraps up this week. There's a potential we'll have an extra one, but that basically we're going to
This is the
stop there.
guarantee for the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any-
On the horizon, we have an interview with executive director of the Norsk Hustfest. I can't say that right.
The Hustfest.
All right, that's he said it. Cyril Swedlund. That's a
Fantastic.
good interview
I
with
think
him.
that'll be- have you done that interview yet?
Yeah, it's
You
done.
have? Okay.
It's recorded
Well, that's extremely exciting. Did
Yep.
you talk a little bit about Epic
briefly.
briefly? Okay.
We didn't
There we
spend too
go.
much.
There we go.
We didn't spend a ton of time there, but it was talked
It's
about.
touched on.
Gary Imeneth, host of Open Range, joined. We're going to be releasing that in the next couple weeks. And local entrepreneur Noah Schmidt launched a new business, Guardian Safety Nets. He's been at it for a while, actually. Pretty cool stuff that he has going on. So we sat down and talked with him about how his business came about, and actually took the show outside, grabbed a little snippet of the safety net in action.
That's fantastic. I look forward to looking at
Bringing new technology to that stuff. Those have all been shot. There might be another one. I can't remember because I didn't actually create a list and have it here. But those are all the ones that are coming out.
They're in the works.
We have a couple more that are interviewed or interview dates are set, and some pretty good conversations coming there too. So we'll tell you about those later. But
A lot to look forward to here at the Dakotan from Mr. Jonathan Starr here.
from the Dakotan, man, because we got Rob
And
Fuller in
Rob
on
too, of
this,
course,
and we
Councilman
got
Fuller.
and
Whenever
I got
stuff.
a update this week or into last week, this week, that maybe a guy that by the name of Kyler Collin was gonna be working on a podcast. So
I
we're
have
really
two
looking.
things I'm working on. If either of them actually get off the ground or not, it's a different story.
We're really looking forward to the documentary of some of the Minot events over the past 200 years.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. I got a fun. I want it to be good. So I can take a second for a monologue here. I'm working.
So it
on
may never start.
Yeah, exactly. I'm working on a documentary of the 2002 anhydrous spill.
If you know any information, reach out to him.
If you have pictures, reach out to us at the Dakota and send them to us. We would love to use them in that. But it is something. It's going to be a borderline feature film length production. It's going to be. We're going to have interviews with people that were on site all over across a spectrum from that, whether they were first responders, people that were involved in the media at the time. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a big project, far bigger than I anticipated it being when we first teased this a couple months ago. But want it to be done right. We look forward to it. It's going to be great.
Bro, I messed it up.
Yeah, I'm not there anymore, was I?
I'm sorry. I was trying to make it where you went full screen.
It's okay.
Because your monologue was getting so long, I felt like you deserved the whole screen, but
You just got to picture you instead. It's fine.
yeah, nobody wanted to see that.
But look forward to it. I'm shooting some shots from around the area over the next couple days. Going to take some filming of.
He's shooting his shot. Dude. All right. Obviously, we're going off the rails, so we'll
Yes.
wrap it up here.
I think that's a great place.
but definitely stay tuned for the great content we'll have released this week. And then next week, Tuesday, 2 p.m., Minot Talk. We'll be back recapping Minot City Council and whatever else happens, all the high-speed chases that'll be going on this week. Thanks for watching this episode of Minot Talk. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Become part of that Dakotan community. We want you to join us. We're doing great things over here. Have a great rest of your day.
Week.
week, year,
All the stuff.
whatever it is.
It's gonna be a great time. Take care, like, subscribe, all the fun stuff.